If you've been watching the New England Patriots this season, you would know the offensive line definitely needs help. And if you've been listening to the media, you would know that a lot of them believe that a left tackle is the top position of need and should be considered as the team's first-round pick in the upcoming 2025 NFL Draft. I have been discussing some of the top offensive line prospects, and at tackle, obviously there's Will Campbell, Ariante Ursary, Kelvin Banks Jr., I've also pointed out some day two guys with Gray Zabel, Anthony Belton's in there, Charles Grant, Armand Membo is also another guy I like. Mentioned some of the guys like Micah Pettis, Xavier Truss, Ozzie Trapillo, as well as several other offensive tackle prospects that could be taken throughout the draft. In addition, I've also mentioned some guards that are worth noting, such as Tyler Booker. I am also a huge fan of Clay Webb. And I have several other prospects that I'll cover in the coming weeks and months. However, I am finally getting around to one of my favorite offensive linemen in the draft. Today, we're talking about Donovan Jackson, guard/tackle from Ohio State, who immediately stands out as one of the premier linemen in college football. A cornerstone of Ohio State's offensive front, Jackson has built a reputation as a technically sound and physically imposing guard with the versatility and athleticism to play tackle if necessary. And that has had to happen this year, where he moved to left tackle after Josh Simmons was lost to the season with a knee injury and his backup Zen Mikulski was hurt the next week. So Jackson had to fill in and has been playing left tackle to help solidify that vital position, protecting quarterback Will Howard's blindside. Now, considering New England's offensive line condition and the need to finally fix the interior, Jackson's name warrants significant attention as a day two target. At 6'4", 320 pounds, Jackson possesses the ideal frame for an NFL guard. He also combines his excellent length with a strong but also compact build that allows him to anchor against power rushers while maintaining the agility to move laterally in pass pro. Now, a big thing is his arm length. Even though he works on the interior, his arm length is estimated to be near 35 inches with his wingspan over 7 feet, which gives him the reach to handle longer defensive linemen, while his weight distribution and lower body strength provide exceptional balance and power in the trenches. Jackson's athleticism is a key component of his game, and his physical stats further highlight his rare blend of strength and explosiveness. Now, 10-yard split, which is obviously very key for an offensive lineman, 1.59. Faster than any other offensive lineman recorded at the NFL Combine. Bench press, 490, so probably should see his bench to be in the high 20s, probably even into the 30s when you think about it. Squat, 6'10", beast. Vertical jump, 30 inches, and his broad, 9'7". So it's obviously this guy can generate power and explosion. The guy definitely has the physical traits. And when you watch his tape, it's there. In run blocking, Jackson is a mauler. He generates significant movement at the point of attack, using his lower body strength and technique to displace defenders. He excels in both gap and zone blocking schemes, showcasing a natural ability to identify and execute assignments. You rarely see him just flat out make a mistake. He's particularly effective on pulls and traps, where his quick feet and athleticism allow him to find and engage defenders in space. Pass pro, phenomenal. This is probably his defining trait. Nice wide base, strong core, hand placement, all exceptional. This guy is a formidable challenge for any interior pass rushers. Watched him against Derek Harmon, lights out. Derek probably beat him once or twice just on the start, but man, it was awesome battle watching those guys go against each other. And it's not just all power. This guy's got technique. He mirrors his opposing defenders with ease, using his lateral agility to stay in front of quicker linemen while maintaining an anchor to handle power moves. He does both at the same time. It's awesome to watch. His footwork is precise, and he rarely overextends. It's a testament to his football IQ and attention to detail. Another thing, communication and just feel for his other offensive linemen. Him and Simmons had great handoffs throughout the season. It was great to watch. Another thing I need to point out, again, versatility. While primarily playing left guard for the Buckeyes, Jackson's skill set and physical abilities give him the flexibility to play both on the interior or even shift to tackle if needed. This versatility will obviously increase his draft stock in this upcoming draft. So much so, I believe Jackson and Alabama's left guard Tyler Booker will get an extra bump in their draft stock after posting some solid tape at left tackle this season. I am sure NFL teams will give these guys reps when they finally get there. And another thing we need to talk about, football IQ, leadership, academic excellence. This guy's the total package. This is the guy you want on your team. Just a solid dude. He's not only just dominant as an athlete, but he's a cerebral player who excels at diagnosing defensive alignments in the pre-snap and adjusting protections. You could see him communicating. You could see him identifying. So the jump to the NFL shouldn't be just a massive shock to him. He's a 2-time first-team All-Big Ten selection and a 3-time OSU Scholar athlete. Checking all the boxes. Brings that level of discipline and intelligence that allows him to elevate his teammates and will make him a natural leader. This is a guy you want on your team. Weaknesses, I would just say maybe pad level consistency. Sometimes he just misses. Just obviously too high leverage issues, especially against shorter or guys who obviously can drop their pad level. Really good like 6 foot to 6'2" nose guards and tackles that just love to get under and burrow. Big, powerful, stout defenders. They'll get him once in a while. Obviously, there's also guys who are just very quick off the jump. He needs to work on that. Explosiveness off the snap is definitely there. He's got the speed, but sometimes it's just that quick first step that other guys get on him. Again, that only leads to a miss every once in a while. Now, listening to this thus far, you're probably thinking, hey, this is a pretty good fit, right? Well, will the Patriots actually get him? Been saying it since day one of this year's coverage of the draft. This is 100% best available. And it seems like local media is kind of jumping in on that now. It's obvious the Patriots have a handful of guys that you want starting no matter what next season. On the offensive line, just about everything needs to be reevaluated, and there's a few positions that 100% need to be addressed, right? There's obviously questions surrounding the Patriots' interior line. Jackson could step in and provide immediate stability. Like, finally stop this dilemma on the interior. Yes, I know they have committed a lot of draft capital and there's been the free agents at the left guard position, but man, it is still not there. I know Cole Strange will be back and he might be able to alleviate that issue, and I'm hoping he does, but he also might be the center soon. Layden Robinson is definitely a long way off from being a solid starting left guard, and I guess they decided to pull the plug on City So after his injury this year. I guess he's not getting back into the mix. But then there's also those like other 3 or 5 or whatever other guards that they have on the roster right now that they've been trying to rotate in there. I think Jackson would finally allow the Patriots to move on from that issue. His ability to dominate in the run and hold his own in pass pro at the guard position or maybe even as a swing tackle here and there would bolster the depth and quality of New England's offensive front. Also, Jackson is one of the safest offensive line prospects in the 2025 NFL Draft. Not a lot of injuries, has plenty of tape, solid dude on and off the field. He's got the combination of size, the technique, football IQ. Honestly, there might be only a handful of offensive lines where this guy would not be a day one starter. And I think he would be one of those guys you'd look at and say, this guy has Pro Bowl potential at some point in his career. Now, for the Patriots, Jackson represents that opportunity to solidify the offensive line for the future while providing that immediate impact, which I think a lot of Patriots fans are worried about. Can we just at least get that offensive line more solidified for Drake? Allow them to move up the middle, which has been a problem with the ball. I know the Patriots do need tackles. We know this. We've covered it. It's the first few prospects I actually covered this year were tackles. But if you don't take one in the first round, you're probably not looking at a starting caliber tackle probably in day 2. We might see what happened last year, which was anybody that had potential to be a starting level tackle was taken in the first round almost immediately. Now, of course, I have no problem with them going after Will Campbell. I am also pretty big on Ariante Ursary. I think he... And there's also Kelvin Banks. Josh Simmons is probably even going to be a first-round pick this year, despite having a massive knee injury, which might allow him to be ready for camp. That's how thin tackles are this year. But there's other problems that the Patriots need to consider. They don't have an edge rusher. They don't have a big X receiver. They just need help at the receiver position in general. Yet they definitely need to do something about getting a starting level offensive lineman in this draft. So if you miss out on your starting level tackles, and maybe at least you can get a starting level guard on day 2. Then you can at least say that you didn't reach for a developmental tackle out of desperation. And like I said, this guy has played left tackle since Simmons has been out. I'm not saying he is a tackle for the Patriots, but at least you would have a guy on the roster to be an option if there's an injury or simply to take over if you need to pull the starter. And for those of you who think there's no way that Donovan could play tackle at the NFL level, well, I invite you to go watch the Penn State game where he went head-to-head with Abdul Carter, who's probably the best edge rusher in this class and would probably be a top 10 pick in most drafts, period. He put him to bed. I mean, sometimes he actually pancaked him. That means something. I mean, honestly, I watched every single game of Abdul's this year, and Donovan probably gave him the hardest time out of everybody. Yeah, Abdul probably beat him around the edge a few times, but he does that to just about everybody. So it's not a crazy thing to say that Donovan actually might be able to be a tackle prospect at the next level. He has the size, the length, and the strength and the experience to be at least considered. I believe if Jackson's available, when New England's on the clock, he should be one of their top considerations for a day 2 pick. And that's if he's even there. Anyway, what do you guys think of Donovan? Should the Patriots go after him? If so, when? Let me know in the comment section below. If you guys like this content, please like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.